real quick, the Artist Elite. I know we talked about it a little bit before. We went live, and Tuesday, guys, if you all caught the show that we did on Tuesday, we looked at Brett's entire Lost Serpent Prince story arc that he had going on with Artist Elite. And issue 7 was supposed to come out in January and never did, and that was going to wrap up the storyline. Now, fortunately, Brett just said we're going to get that whole entire story when he actually launches his book on Kickstarter or Indiegogo or both, whatever he decides to do. But people in the chat were wondering what happened with all that, because it seemed like a pretty promising thing at first.
There was a meeting in I think it was the beginning of December, mid-December, and because I was like, "Where's our money?" We never got any money for it.
Oh, geez.
And somehow they had gotten like a phenomenal amount into debt, and I was like, I don't understand how that happened, because we paid for the printing.
Oh,
it's like the book was divided into 4s, us, each one of the artists, and then the guy who was running it all, the Comics Elite people.
yeah.
And so what would happen was the money for the printing came out first, and then what was left over is what we would get, and you divide it amongst the 4 of us. But we never actually got that money, because they were like, "Oh, we're too far in the hole," and I was like, "How could you be this far in the hole?" I don't understand that, and I never got. They never would send numbers. They show them on the screen, but they, it's a tiny little screen. They never sent the numbers, and I was like, "Oh, geez." And then they were like, "Well, so we're not going to print the books anymore. We're thinking about just going to crowdfunding." And we just do it through crowdfunding, but then they wanted to own a percentage of the character. They wanted to own some of the properties, and I was like, "No." So
that's good advice to anybody out there. If anybody wants to publish your work, cool. If there's a deal in place, great. But if they ever come to you asking to own part of your creation, your character, your properties, that's when it's probably time to bail out on that deal. Perth Comics says not that elite. Yeah, it definitely sounds like that's like I've met some of the guys from the Artist Elite or the Comics Elite, and they seem like cool guys. It's too bad that kind of went sour, unfortunately.
Yeah, well, I think that I mean, I know initially they went with a different printer, and it was much more expensive. So the money for the first issue was like hardly any. I mean, it was enough to pay for the printing, and then a little bit for the artist, but it wasn't very much. I think it was like it was supposed to get like around $2,000. Yeah, it was like not a lot, but it was like each, or I think that's what it was. Yeah, it's about $2,000 each, so there wasn't a lot of money in there. It wasn't enough for me to actually even pay for my cost for having it colored and inked and stuff. So
I was just gonna say, like that's not gonna be enough to cover the people.
Yeah, it's not. It's not enough. It's not enough. So
not even close.
I mean, it's all about sales, man. Morals go out the window as soon as sales start hurting.
Someone's going to clip you on that, right?
Go for it.
Next thing you know, we got to deal with the Wheelers tomorrow. Like, fuck,
Yeah, whatever. Fuck them. Yeah, it's
I like you, Shawn.
I mean, it's true, man. Sales just go right out. I mean,
I'll sell what sells. If everybody tomorrow decides they like the most woke lefty comic you could possibly imagine, they all want to see transgender Captain America dressed like Dylan Mulvaney drinking Bud Light while he's getting surgery, and the whole world says they like that. Looks like we're making covers of that.